What's up with the YouTube? Back again with another banger. I want to really make something clear for the men. We're going to make this real clear. A woman should always be a want, not a need. Every woman you interact with or in a relationship with or you're communicating with or, you're starting to take things serious with, the woman should be a want, not a need. Because as a man, when you need your woman, you develop a emotional attachment. You give off needy energy. You need, you're desperate. I'm not saying don't love your woman. I'm not saying don't treat your woman right. I'm just saying that you don't need a woman. You want the woman. It's a big difference. It's a huge difference. And that's where guys get messed up in this game, messed up in these relationships game, messed up in their marriages, messed up in just dealing with women, period. They have this need for women. They have this need for intimacy. They have this need for love, for validation, for ego boost. That's needy energy, bro. I don't need my woman. I want her. That's why she's in my life. It's a big difference. It's a big difference. Like, what you need is yourself. What you need is your self-confidence. What you need is a strong mindset and mentality. That's what you need. But wanting a woman, that's not a need. It should never be a need. You don't need a woman to build. You don't need a woman to marry. You don't need a woman to feel whole as a man. You don't need a woman to validate yourself as a man. All you need is yourself. But having a woman in your life do make things life easier in certain circumstances. Wanting a woman in your life, is a good thing. You want her, you love her, you care for her. That's beautiful. But when you need, you become obsessive. You'll become vindictive. You'll become manipulative because you need her energy. You need her validation. You need her love. You need her affection. You need her to be your mama. You need her to be everything you want her to be. When it shouldn't work like that. And that's why most of these relationships fail. Because a lot of these dudes have needy energy. When a woman should have never been your need, she should always been your want. You want her, not need her, bro. Self-preservation. Be independent. Know who you are as a man before you get in these relationships. Don't get in a relationship with these women if you're still dealing with drama and trauma from the past relationships that you've been in, because you're going to continue to bring those problems into the current relationship. And the problem goes where men start putting the woman on the pedestal. You put her above everything. You treat her like your God. Then when a woman leaves, you're lost. Because you never understood who you was as a human being. You never understood who you was as a man because you was so needy. You needed her for everything. You needed her to be motivated. You needed her to eat clean. You needed her to go to the gym. You needed her to feel love for yourself when you should have already had that within. Inner peace. It's internal, not external. True love for self is internal, not external. You're not going to find your love in another human being. Let's chop that up right now. You're never going to find your love in another human being. You're never going to find the full whole version of you in another human being. It has to be inside of you, bro. If it ain't in you, then it ain't in you. If you don't want to listen to what I'm saying right now, then you can be needy all you want to be. You can be emotionally attached all day, heartbroken, ready to take yourself out because the broad left you, ready to go take the broad out in her new dude because you're unemotionally in control. You're emotionally unstable because you had this needy energy, because you had this emotional attachment. Now you want to be petty. Now you want to go back and forth. Now you want to backstab. Now you want to air out all her dirty laundry because you're in your emotions. We must maintain and control our emotions. We are human beings. We have emotions. I'm not saying don't have them, but we have to control them more than others do. I mean, really pay attention to the game. If you look in the past or look back in your past relationships when you was going back and forth with the woman, you know you was out of line. You know you didn't need it to take it that far. You know you didn't have no business screaming and yelling and cussing at that woman at the top of your lungs to the point where you lost your voice. That was acting out emotionally. And every time you did that, you lost a little bit of your masculinity. Not for the world, for yourself. That's why it's so important to control your emotions as a man. You have to be in a position to where you don't need anybody but yourself. Not trying to say become a narcissist or be the most self-centered person in the world. No. You can be there for people. You can be there for others that need your help, your services. But you needing people, you needing to be codependent on somebody else to feel whole, is a setup for failure. All you need is God and yourself. You don't need no other human being in this world to validate love for you, to validate your goals, your dreams, your passions, your commitments. All you need is you and the Most High. Nothing else in this world. So you got to know the difference between your needs and your wants, because your needs are going into the wrong things and people and places. A woman should always be a want, never a need. Because once your woman become your need, everything diminishes. Because you got to understand, we are human beings. Things change. People will come and go. But when you're needy and you're giving off needy energy, when your needs leave, your soul do as well. A woman shall always be in want, never in need. Real talk. Chop it over with y'all later, man. Peace.